where we expect, if at all he will make his way there, President Uhuru Kenyatta to use that particular road as he heads towards the Bomas of Kenya. We also have a team at the Bomas of Kenya, both outside and inside the Bomas of Kenya. You have Rita Tinina and Lofty Matambo are keeping an eye on what's happening there for us. We have our reporters all over the country just feeling the pulse of the nation as we wait for that announcement by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. We are not sure when that announcement will be made on who the next president of the Republic of Kenya will be. Ezra Chiloba has just given a press a couple of minutes ago. He says that so far they have received 288 forms, just 2 remaining, and he says they're still seeking clarification from the returning officers, and of course he'll give us the way forward after that is done. In studio we have Daisy Amdanyi, we have Kamodho Waiganja, we have Kibe Muigai and Professor Ori Tumbo, who have been with me for a while. People, thank you for staying with me. Prof, allow me to begin with you. That presser that we've just had from James Orengo and the issues he's raising, what are your thoughts?
Wow, I didn't think that IBC and the stakeholders will be going backwards instead of going forward.
Define backwards.
Backwards means you see the Form 34B, the majority have arrived at IBC for verification. Now they look like they are saying we are dissatisfied with what happened at the constituency level where the elections was sort of where documents had been verified, all right? They are saying they are going back there. Now, as far as we are concerned, it's quite suggestive of the fact that the outcome of the election is not going to be announced very soon. Now, secondly, in my opinion, it looks like IBC is now involved in an argument with NASA over 1, procedure, 2, figures, 3, decision points, and things like that. So the matter has been muddied rather than clarified. And finally, I want to say this. There is, in my opinion, there is a need for a decision to be made to reduce the tension around the country, so that if there are arguments of the type they are having now, they can be argued elsewhere.
So you think that announcement needs to be made and then the rest of
I'm sure you understand when I say elsewhere. Because as far as I'm concerned, we are being held at a level, to me, that, for example, at the Bomas Tallying Center, I didn't think that the decisions made by the court suggested there was going to be this, because this is a carryover from
2007.
Yeah, that now.
No, but Kibe just said the decision that was made by the court looks like millions of Kenyans out there just did not understand. Now is when it's dawning on people what that particular decision meant.
But you know what Kibe has also said? He said that the process is supposed to be simple. Actually, that is what the law requires. That the process should be simple and easy to understand by everybody, by a layman. Right now, it looks like it is the lawyers. No, because even some of the lawyers are confused now. You know, because and it looks like even the candidates are confused. And as Prof has said, it is muddying the waters, so that now nobody seems to know what is happening. And what it begins to look like is like a shifting of goalposts. Yes. You know, that now that the process that you fought for doesn't seem to be favoring you, you want to go back to a different process. And you know, we shouldn't have to be doing that. But for me, you know, the greater thing here is this. Number one, we do need closure. As in, this process can't continue in perpetuity. We need closure. A declaration must be made so that any other process should move further. Because if indeed there is an argument that is going on in IBC, or rather at the National Tally Center, you know, I think that it shouldn't be happening, because IBC should be allowed to do its work. Remember, it's an independent commission. Yes, all stakeholders should ideally be satisfied with the process. But you see, at the end of the day, you will not be able to satisfy everybody. And once you have established or you have satisfied the basic minimums within the law, then IBC should just go ahead and do what they need to do and allow the next phase, the next step to move on. But having said that, I think it's also important to understand as a country where we are. Okay. Because remember, when we look at the numbers, we look at the numbers, we can see that the Jubilee candidate is ahead from those numbers.
8
okay?
million.
But the numbers that the NASA candidate has gotten are also substantive.
6 million.
Now, the person who is declared the winner or the presidential winner, the winner of the presidential candidate, the presidential race, has a huge responsibility to bring this country back together.
Yeah, that's the conversation
to give
we were having.
assurances. Because you see, we have done our politics in such a manner that it is a zero-sum game, you know? For me, to win, you must lose, And that's what we really need to move away from. We had hoped, I think, with the new constitution, bringing in, the devolved systems, that we would actually move away from this national contestation, the presidential. But it looks like we have not devolved our minds, But whoever is declared presidential winner today
has a lot of work to do.
Huge responsibility. One, to understand that they are the president of Kenyans. Even if you have won with 8 million votes, we have 48 million Kenyans. You are the president of the entire country. He needs to ensure that everybody feels that they are part and parcel of this country.
Listen, and then when you come back, I'd like to listen to Kibe Mugai, because he was raising some issues about the numbers that are now being received at Bomas and whether or not there's a disagreement over the numbers, and really what can IEBC do about the numbers that are coming in. So before we get there, let me speak to my colleague Sophia Wanuna. The last we heard from her, she was at the NASA Tallying Center. Sophia, where are you now?